Hello everybody, we're doing this again. Last time we read a poem, it was in December. Now, I don't know, we're in January, so thought it was time. And this poem came to me, and I wanted to read it and share maybe a couple of thoughts. There's a poem by Paulann Petersen. It's called Replenish. So this is the poem. Oh, one other note. I couldn't find an electronic version of this, but I do think that it's anthologized. So if you're going to see this, it'll probably have to be as a physical copy someplace. But I'll do my best to kind of like talk about it. Here's the poem. Replenish. Last night, the rain held me under a roof of sound. The night-long rain hung its murmur over my sleep. Dreams come and fled, each a night-opening bloom that shuts itself off into a bud before morning arrives. I'm going to read that section one more time. Dreams came and fled, each a night-opening bloom that shuts itself back into bud before morning arrives. My breath and heartbeat followed a simple-minded routing. In, out, pull, give way. Part of me grew a little, more of me sank. The lost were mostly replaced. Rain fed whatever was mine. Poem by Paulann Petersen. Lovely. Just want to say a couple of things, maybe some short remarks. I want to talk about like maybe two images and then maybe the structure. When I look at this first line, it's jammed. So that means there's a sentence in there, but the line ends and then the thought continues on to the second line. So if I just, this first line tripped me up the first time I read it, because I wasn't reading it to the punctuation. I was reading it to the line, and the line reads, "Last night the rain held me under." Now the full line is, "Last night the rain held me under a roof of sound." But I was thinking, the rain held me under, like underwater, like to drown me. And so that was a very striking kind of way of thinking about it. But then when you bring in that second part, last night the rain held me under a roof of sound. A roof of sound, which is a lovely image that you get. It's raining outside. We get a lot of rain in Oregon. I'm in Oregon. We get a lot of rain down here. Not as much this year as we should, but we get a lot of rain here. And you hear it on the roof. That's the majority of where you hear it. If you're inside, if you're in your car, maybe you hear it on your windshield more than your roof. But if you're just not driving, you're sitting there. A roof of sound. So it's protecting you, but you can hear it. Just a lovely image, a roof of sound. The rain's coming down, it's protecting you. Wonderful. The second image I wanted to talk about comes later in the same stanza. Dreams came and fled, each a night-opening bloom that shuts itself back into a bud before morning arrives. So this is how we're going to talk about dreams now. I'm having a dream, and a dream is like a flower that opens. But then, when the morning comes, it turns back into a bud. Assuming, that you're dreaming the next night, then it opens and then it closes. Wonderful. Blooms that, a night opening bloom. I used to live in Southern California. We had night blooming jasmine, which was such a beautiful scent. That these night blooming, and then in the morning, they close up again. Or they don't send out their scent. So such a nice way of thinking about this dream state that is open, it's beautiful, and then it closes up in the morning. What a nice way to kind of like talk about that. So this poem is in 2 stanzas. I want to talk about the structure a little bit. This poem is in 2 stanzas. So this first stanza is, last night the rain held me under a roof of sound. The night-long rain hung its murmur over my sleep. Hung its murmur over my sleep. Dreams came and fled, each a night-opening bloom that shuts itself back into a bud before morning arrives. So that, for me, seems like we're setting a scene. We're going to talk about a scene. It's night, it's raining, I'm having these dreams that are affected by the rain. Second stanza. My breath and heartbeat followed a simple-minded routing, in, out, pull, give way. Part of me grew a little. More of me sank. The lost were mostly replaced. Rain fed whatever was mine. For me, just the beginning, the first line of that second stanza, my breath and heartbeat followed. And the second line, a simple-minded routing. Simple-minded routing. Routing is an interesting word to put there. But my breath and heartbeat followed. When I look at the second stanza, I'm thinking to myself, this is the poet's reaction, experience of that first stanza, right? It's raining, the poet's sleeping, having these dreams. These dreams are happening. My breath and heartbeat are following what? A simple-minded routing. Well, that could be lots of different things. I would prefer to think it was the dream. If the dream is calm, my heartbeat and breath are calm. If the dream is exciting, maybe my breathing and heartbeat are excited. So there's some other things in here. I would say the middle part of this has some sexual or erotic kind of images in here. In, out, pull, give way. Part of me grew a little. More of me sank. So I would say that that's probably an aspect of this. What kind of a dream is somebody having whose breath and heartbeat are following? Maybe it's a dream of a lover or something along those lines. But this is what I wanted to get to, the last line. Rain fed whatever was mine. Rain fed whatever was mine. And I see almost a duality here. That first line, last night rain held me under, as if perhaps to kill me. This last line, rain fed whatever was mine. Well, what's mine in this poem? Well, what's mine in this poem is my breath and heartbeat. That's what's mine, and my sleep. And of course, when the sleep comes, then dreams come. But those are what's mine. This is what the poem is saying, that last line, rain is feeding whatever was mine. So physically, of course, feeding. But I would say, in the context of that first line, rain is feeding the dream. Feeding the dream of this that's happening on this raining night. Anyway, so wonderful poem, Replenish by Paulann Petersen. You can probably find it someplace. It has been set to music, by the way, and you might be able to find it there. Anyway, that's it for today. Maybe later on this month sometime. We'll see. Have a good January, everybody. Bye.